Man, what's good people? You're tuned in to Lab Notes, and I am the one-man gang, chopping it up with artists from around the world, all genres, all independent, all the time. If you're out there tuned into IGTV land, or if you're here live with us in the chat, we appreciate you and thank you for coming out. Make sure that you drop any questions down in the chat and become part of the conversation. Now, today I'm chopping it up with one of the most eclectic artists out there. She is a orator. She is a complete package. She's a charismatic composer, a renowned writer, a soulful singer. Her latest album, Todos, is banging, and it's available for streaming and download on all platforms. One time for your mind, the talented Miss Natalie Greffel. What's good?
Hey, everything is good.
That's what we talk about, man. Last time you were on the show, we had a little bit of technical difficulties. It seems like the Instagram gods are doing their thing now and everything is perfect as far as connectivity is concerned. But we really didn't get a chance to talk about your music last time. Oh, the little baby.
No, we did not. Yeah, there's a little baby. Woke up from a nap, so I'll have to depart from the thing.
No problem, man. No problem. Yeah, so we didn't really get a chance to talk about your music last time. So let's take a moment and talk about Todos. The press release for it says that your album is that you're discovering musical heritage through your records. How have you incorporated your heritage into your music?
That's kind of like an ongoing process right now where I'm trying to like question how I have learned like heritage from like school and like society, and like I think definitely living in a European space, I wanted to kind of connect with my heritage in Mozambique. So incorporating that means that I try to like find narratives that I don't know anything about, even though they're quite obviously there. So for me, it was a lot about, well, I know a lot about my history in Denmark, and there's still a lot to unpack. But then, what don't I know from my heritage in Mozambique? I go there, visit my family, I talk with them. But because of colonization happening in Mozambique, there's a lot of history, even for my family, that is very just erased and no one knows anything about. Mm-hmm. So for me, in that sense, it was more about like going and creating like an intellectual as well as an emotional journey of like connecting with various types of music through that, right, that are connected to like the Black diaspora. Because then when I went to Brazil in this particular case, I was interested in seeing like, you know, what some of my ancestors who were taken to Brazil how their stories have lived on. So that's kind of how I learn about the music, and then I, as much as I can, I feel like it's an ongoing journey that never ends. So I incorporate those rhythms, those sounds of those places, those. I wish I could incorporate smell, right? But like I can't, honestly. But I'm just trying to create like a 3-dimensional like mind map of what I've learned and how somehow that connects back to me as a person. So in those terms, it's like I talk about like personal stories in lyric wise. But then musically, I take it very much into the traditional or the stories through the rhythms and the music and the harmonies. Because I feel like if I would be in wanting to write something that has any kind of, in this case, like Brazilian legacy, I do think the lyrics are different because my story is not the same.
Right.
So I try to put my story into the music, while also not trying to claim that it is Brazilian music, but more like trying to create like a meeting between those two,
right,
as a way of like connect with my heritage in that way, and also learning to open myself up to the people there in a way that is not accessible to me when I'm sitting from like in the European Western space.
Oh, okay, cool, no problem. Just want to give a couple quick shout outs real quick. We got Luigi Italia in the chat. He says, what's good? We got my man Riley Roberts 23. He says, to know where you are from only gives you the strength to move forward in the future, which is 100% true. Yes. 100% true. Now right. You mentioned Mozambique. You also mentioned Brazil. Now, is your family? I read your story, and I know that you were born in Mozambique and then you moved to Denmark not too long afterwards. But is your family of Mozambique descent? Am I getting that right, or am I missing something there?
Yeah. So we as far as I know, right? We're like very like from like Mozambique. There is, of course, like some like Arab and Indian descent you can see in the people there, but most of my family are just like from Mozambique. I don't know anything, no one being from anywhere else. Then I know a little bit of from where in the country they're from. But yeah, so Mozambique for sure.
Then how does Brazil make that connection into you? Because I know you mentioned Brazil as well, so I was just trying to figure out the full circle between Mozambique and Denmark, as well as Germany and Brazil.
In what way? Like how do all these connect with each other?
How do all those connect with each other that connect to you?
Okay, so like I think that's more like a bibliographical thing about my life then. So when I was a child, my mom, I lived with my mom and my sister, and she was then teaching us Portuguese because she was like, I want my children to learn how to speak with their relatives in Mozambique. I want them to know their heritage and want to know who they are. And it's important because a lot of children who are from two different cultures only learn one.
Right.
I mean, it can happen. And my mom was very consistent about that. So as I'm learning Portuguese, my mom was also like, a very big fan of music. So she would listen to all types of music, not only from different parts of Africa, but also like from Portugal and Brazil, because that was Portuguese.
Right.
And so I already had this like particular, as a child, you don't know I didn't know where countries were, but then as I became older, I realized there were other places that spoke a similar language to me. And so I just thought that was amazing and had this like idea about, wow, these people are kind of like my people, like, and as I grow up, then it's like, then I grew up, and then at a certain when I finished high school, I wanted to kind of like go outside of Denmark and have like an experience of learning more about myself, because when you leave somewhere, I feel like I've learned more about myself.
Right.
And I was able to get a contract for like working in volunteer work for free, like in Germany. They would pay for my housing. And so that's how I got into Germany. But it's only through Germany then that I have been confronted with a lot of other Black communities, because the Black community here in my city is so big, and being like presented with critical text on like the decolonial thought and like anti-Blackness and all these really like nurturing good things you need to learn about.
Right.
And that's when this like very internal, like a very early yearning to know, quote unquote, people who are similar to me, have similar language and experience potentially the world similarly because of the language that they use. That's when I was like, I actually want to go somewhere where people also speak Portuguese, because I do know that through my English, I can connect with various different types of people.
Right.
But if I can connect with people through this language, how is my experience going to be? And I know that people from where I was from have been taken away from Mozambique and to Brazil. So I want to go and like somehow just like experience that curiosity that I had as a child, and that meaning, like that way of belonging that I think is very profound, and that is not something that is often talked about, belonging to somewhere through an ancestral root. So that's how all those things kind of connected. Germany was just the point of departure after that.
Got it. No problem. And you can definitely hear the how your heritage, as far as especially the when you listen to your music, you can hear the fact that you are singing in multiple languages and just basically using the fusion of so many different genres. You got a little bit of Afrobeat going in there, you got a little bit of Caribbean vibes going in there. You can hear so much in your music that just reflects, I guess you can say, the greatness that you have within you as a musician. And on top of that, so not only do you sing, but you crazy nice with the bass and whatnot. I seen some videos of you playing bass. I was like, wow, this girl is nasty with it, man. Songwriter, all of that, man. So I definitely appreciate your efforts and what you do to put into your craft. It is truly amazing.
Thank you so much. For this particular album, I didn't record the bass. That's my other bassist, but just to give him a shout out, that is not like I'm the bassist on this particular album. Right. But I mean, I try very hard to also not think myself as an instrumentalist in like one way of thinking. I think it broadens my mind just to kind of connect with various instruments and as a way of like connecting with myself. So it offers me a lot of focus and discipline when I sometimes don't have that. So that's kind of where I'm trying to work from. But I thank you for seeing that, and I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, you said that you didn't play bass on this particular album, but what instruments did you play? What instruments were you able to get down on and incorporate in these recordings?
So the instruments I did get to play was like the floor tom. Like I played it like surdo, this Brazilian drum that there's like major like bass drum, and I played that particular. I think it's because I was very interested in bass playing and understanding the rhythm there from a Brazilian like perspective, and it's just the base of everything. So if you learn that, you can even incorporate that to your bass thinking. So that's what I played. I love playing triangle, so that was on there as well. So I played triangle there as well, and then there was the keys, like not the keys in total, but the like synthesizer for 1, 2, and I played that as well. And then just a bunch of percussion, and I also did some choir backings and stuff like that with a group of other people. So I was more trying to add to that like fuller sound of the percussion that I think is really crucial to create like a support to this amazing group of people that I was playing with. Right. So I was just adding the stardust onto it.
Nice, man. So who were some of the people that actually helped you put this album together, or this EP together?
It's a CD. And it's just very few songs, but it is a CD. There's been a lot of people. There's been people supporting me emotionally. There's been people supporting me spiritually, historically, if you will, like informing me like about the necessary history in order to even comprehend the music from its history. So it's actually a very, very, very lengthy question.
That's all right, we got time.
But I can say, I can say like from well, I was born in so I think on a emotional and like spiritual level, I think it was just the teachers I had in Brazil, and the friends that I made in Brazil who were talking about the music there and the commitment they had to learning their own culture and their own music, the commitment they had politically and being invested in Black people's struggles in Brazil. Some of them, I think, even were just white, but had understood the what it takes to study the music, how to be spiritually connected with it, how to grapple with the history. So those people were some people I met. I talked with those, so they helped me honor the music as much as I could. Then it was also just a process of talking with some friends who had created albums and just hearing them out. So one of them was like Erik Leuthäuser, who's like a German jazz singer, who he's like super talented, very, very young. He released his first things in his early 20s and has just been on fire ever since. So he was the person that I was talking to about it and was trying to support me there. And from there on, it's just like I had a musical director for a while that helped me kind of like set the framework of creating a full nice band. But that's only when I recorded the demo. And then after that, I've kind of gotten enough input from various types of people and various types of experiences that I just kind of could bring the album into the full sound and experience that I had. Plus, I was working with Kale, the sound engineer, and he is a musician as well, bass player as well. And he has a very broad idea of sound and how to go beyond the sheet music, go beyond the melodies, and how to create like a fuller, almost like in my experience, like a very 3D experience of what needs to happen in the room of listening to this music. So it's been a lot of different people. That was almost fell down. Yeah, so that's kind of like, I think I could say this briefly, and since we have a few other questions, I assume.
That's fine. I'm just enjoying you discuss your album. That's all, man. Now, which one of, so when you listen to Para Todos, and please excuse me if I butcher any of the language? Because I'm assuming Para Todos is Portuguese, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So please excuse me because I don't speak, unfortunately, I don't speak Portuguese or Spanish, so I may butcher some of these names of some of the songs that we discussed today. But what is your favorite record from Para Todos?
I think, I don't know. I mean, I actually have the album. Let me just read through the titles here. Just look at them. I think, that depends. I do like Para Todos, and I also like the Toqué as well. I think that would be those two that I honestly I like all of them, but I do think that I can't say. I actually don't have a favorite. I like all of them because they have various ideas, various thoughts, and the other one doesn't really take away the other.
All right, no doubt.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
I mean, I understand. It's like picking if you have kids, it's like picking your favorite kid, or if you have a sibling, it's like picking your favorite sibling. I understand that, so I do Toqué.
Yeah, but the second one is my favorite.
But you did mention Toqué. Am I saying it right? Toqué?
Yeah.
And what does Toqué mean in English?
It means I played.
I played. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, no doubt. I like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to give the people just a little bit of taste, a little snippet of Toqué. So everyone out there in IGTV land, this is Toqué by the incomparable, the just amazing Natalie Greffel right here on Lab Notes. I like them drums, man. Yeah.
Dias em que não sei como falar, não sei nem amar ou perdoar. Preciso sair para respirar o vento do mar. Preciso andar, encontrar o meu amigo que mora lá fora, que me abraça, me dá um beijo, me deixa chorar. E o vento falou para não chorar, criança. E o vento falou para não chorar, criança.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. You heard it here, right here on Lab Notes. That was Natalie Greffel's song Toqué right here on Lab Notes. So what does Toqué actually mean? I mean, like as far as like the story behind it. Excuse me.
Right. I do have, I think as a person, I was dealing a lot with, I think imposter syndrome at the time, like feeling very unsettled with a lot of feelings that I had. Like, I think it's more like to the point of having a lot of unsorted feelings, and I didn't know how to communicate or put words to that or be constructive about how to communicate that to the outside world. So it was kind of like, that was kind of what this song is about, like going somewhere where you can like find some kind of peace or internal moments to breathe. Right. And something that I always appreciated about my listening to different types of like Brazilian artists like Hermeto Pascoal, João, Tom Jobim, and those like very jazzy artistic times, is that they incorporate a lot of like nature and talk a lot about nature and as a place of refuge, and so I thought about that and how to if I had, if like as a reflection, do I have a place like that? And I think subconsciously living in Denmark, so I'm from Aarhus, and it's a coast city. There's always a constant like wind coming in from the sea, and so I've always been very close to water, and always been but that has been a very normal state of being for everybody in this city. So it's not like it's something different, but it's never something that is talked about. But then moving to Germany and Berlin, there's like no wind, there's no water, and it's just dry. So it was more about reminding myself of certain feelings, like, you know, that you can remember, you know, like certain kinds of winds on your skin, or the smells that were there. So it's much about connecting to that environment that I could remember, and just like how that could like speak to me as a way of like reminding myself of learning how to find a language and learning how to like calm myself down. So that was an exercise in a way for that. At the same time, it was also just the sort of pattern that you had in the beginning was something that I was learning in Brazil in this course that I had, learning how to play surdo. And I found that it was again like that thought about transforming and creating like a fusion, or like a transformation of something, like an instrument or pattern into a different instrument. And so that's why I took this surdo pattern and then put it to the drums, put it to the bass. So everybody's kind of just like vamping on that beat to kind of create like a symbiosis of togetherness. So I wanted to create kind of like a repetition of it was kind of also study on that particular rhythm, you know, and see how that works with different instruments, and what that informs me of. And then on a very musically nerdy place, I wanted to also write a song over an altered scale.
No doubt. Hey, people
which is just a different sound.
Hey man, I tell you, I think the song is awesome, man. People out there, let me know how y'all feel about Toke. Go ahead and hit those fire emojis down there in the chat if you're feeling it, man. Let us know how you actually feel about the song, what it means to you, and how it made you move while we got that little snippet. I just want to give a couple quick shout outs. We got Roland Daniel in the house. We got the Marie Therese, I believe is how you pronounce that.
Marité. That's my shout out to Marité, my friend.
Oh, no doubt, man. What up, friend? How you living? And we got Overlooked Tracks in the house, man. So we got some folks in here. So yeah, hit us up. Let us know what you think. And if you have any questions for Miss Natalie Greffel, go ahead, write them down. We'll go ahead and try to get to them and knock them out for you guys as well. Now, we talking about favorite songs, and I can't front. Now, my favorite song on this album, I don't think I could pronounce it properly. I tried to pronounce it before, and I butchered it. I know I did. But my favorite record is Nao Sabia Nem Kamsa. Did I say it halfway right?
Yeah. Well, I would say it for you this one time, and then it's called Nao Sabia Nem Começar. Portuguese is
Sabia Nem Começar.
Yeah, you don't pronounce it. You don't pronounce the M in the name. You go to nay.
Oh, nay. Okay. Now Sabia Nem Começar.
Yeah, não sabia nem começar.
Ah, I got it.
Yes, that's close. But, you know, I got it the first time, though. I got it the first time.
No, that's, to me, that record, not only is that record dope, but that video is just cool. But before we talk about the video and the record, I want to give people an opportunity to actually hear it, man. Oh, what Riley said, if only I could sing. Dude, trust me, I understand, man. Natalie, she got this singing thing on lock. I sound like two birds getting in a fight outside, so I know I can't sing. So Riley, I trust me, I understand what you mean. But we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna rock out to this song real quick. It's called, let me see if I get this right now. Here we go. Now Sabia Nem Começar.
Yay, there you go.
Look at me, boy. I'm telling you, I got it. We're going to rock out to this record right here on Lab Notes by Natalie Greffel.
Eu fui viajar lá para onde o sol não cai. Caminhos e destinos e almas que eu cruzei, moram dentro do meu coração.
record is so amazing. That was Now Sabi Ne Comme Ça by Natalie Greffel right here on Lab Notes. Trying to practice my Portuguese here just a little bit, so hopefully I got it. That record is amazing, man. I love it. It's so upbeat. It has that nice, just effervescent feel to it. You know, you hear it, you just want to just kind of rock out, move a little bit. I'm sitting here trying to not dance too much in my chair because my chair is squeaking, but trust me.
Me too,
But this record
gonna be a tricky interview.
This record is amazing, and the cool thing is that the video to this record is really, really, really dope. I mean, the idea of, you know, most of the video you just see people's feet kind of moving around and whatnot, dancing to your song. Man, it was a very clever and a very cool concept of a video, and I really enjoyed it. What was it like creating that video? Who were some of the people that helped you out with it?
Oh, that was like a process for me, because I've never had to create my own music video that was about me, and that got me like really thinking about creating like people who could understand who I was and could help me understand who I was in different disciplines of medium that I wasn't used to. So I had Kyle Ferguson, who was a filmmaker from South Africa. He was on it, and then there was my friend Freddie. I actually just forgot his name because I always call him Freddie, but he's Freddie Marshall. He's called. He's a graphic designer who's an illustrator as well, and he is like I think he's German and from Tanzania as well. Okay. So I wanted to work with people who had some kind of like understanding of my like heritage as well, like because I do think that it's a lot about coming up with ideas and coming up with imagery, and imagery is a very powerful thing. So there was a lot about having people understanding certain kinds of colors, certain kinds of patterns, certain kinds of places, and how to create something that is not typical in a way. Because living in Berlin and having to shoot in Berlin, there are a lot of places there that come across as like everybody would know straight off the bat where we were. Right. And I was trying to create something that was situated more in the narrative of me, not in the narrative of the place. So I had those two work on it, and then Freddie, he basically came up with the idea of creating these like dancing feet. And then as we created these feet, we were just brainstorming about how to make it a bit full. And then just kind of, it came, I think it was out of a conversation of Kyle. He was like, you could just like shoot stuff of your family. And from there, it was kind of good because I was going to Denmark and visit my family. And we were like, okay, let's go. Like I went there with my family and a friend of mine at the time. And my sister was pregnant and absolutely nauseous the whole time. The whole pregnancy was awful. Right. So initially she was supposed to like dance and sit, but she was like, I have to sit here and try not to vomit. And so we just, she had a good flat that you can record in a circle, and I just wanted to have my family be a part of it. Because that's where it all started, you know? And who knows more my heritage, who I am, more than they do. So that's kind of what the whole idea about creating like a space of people just dancing and celebrating, as well as having that celebration with my family. And so that would happen in the movie, or like in the music video, was not something that was like staged. Of course it was staged, but the energy, how we used to interact with each other and who we are in those videos is just regular old Tuesday, you know? There was nothing new to it.
It looked like you guys had a lot of fun. Like, I mean, you sitting there, you just, and it looked natural. I mean, you sitting there, you got your fro out, just chilling, dancing in the hallway and whatnot. It was really, really cool. It was very fun to watch and to enjoy. So I really appreciate you putting that together. You know, you and your team collectively putting it together along with your family. That was really, really dope. Riley Roberts, 23. He wants to know, when you hear your own music, what do you think? That's a good question.
Yeah. I think that I am on a good track. I think I'm onto a good path of self-discovery and empathy and connecting with myself as much as the world. I think that's a lot about where I'm trying to learn very, very, very much from a place of like love and connectivity. And I think just for the person that I am and the things that done in my life, I think it has been learning love, and still learning love is a painful journey also, because there's mourning involved in having to understand who you were in the past and connecting with that. So this album is just a testimony of something that I went through, and I'm glad I have something I can look back to.
Right.
It's called Para Todos, so it is for everybody. It is not a piece that belongs to me musically, and so that's kind of what I think about when I hear my own music in this particular case. It's almost like a bit distant for me at this point, because I wanted to I hear a lot of people having different experiences with it, so it kind of, the title kind of was also like a transition into not belonging to me anymore. So that's kind of what I think about it.
Okay.
When I'm using it or listen to it.
That's what's up right there. And if you're just joining, this is Lab Notes, and I am the one-man gang talking to the talented, the incomparable, the insatiable, the incredible Natalie Greffel, one of the baddest vocalists and bassists and drummers and everything else out there, man. We really appreciate what you do. Now, one thing's for sure, obviously COVID-19 has hit, and it's really changed the game. I think COVID-19 has actually accelerated a lot of things and made things change that were inevitably going to happen at one point in time. One of those things being live performances. Now, I noticed that you recently had on your Instagram, you had a live performance of yourself playing. So I want to know, like, how has that affected you from an artistic perspective and being able to perform and record versus how things were, previously to when that pandemic hit?
Well, I think because there's no option of recording, like I can record at home, but I mean, I think right now the restrictions in Germany have definitely opened up. So, but prior to that, it offered me a space where I could be more consensual with myself, to be honest. I was very caught up in having to do a bunch of things by this imaginative timeline of getting stuff together. And I find that my compositions or composing was something that was more of a quantity, not of a quality.
Right.
And so I had a moment where I didn't really to be honest, miss performing so much, because I do think as a band leader, there's a lot of organization behind that, and organizing and getting people together and organizing. So kind of having a break from that is a blessing for me. I'm not even saying it's a blessing and a curse, because it was just a blessing. I felt like I can relax a bit more.
Right.
And then I started having moments of just waking up and dedicating myself to composing until I didn't feel like it. And just try to see what comes out of me and listen to myself, and then also trying to really respect it.
Okay. Looks like we might be losing her. I hope not. Natalie, you still there? Can you still hear me? I can see you a little bit, but I can't hear you. All right, we getting it together, folks. We're getting it together. Instagram, man, I'm telling you, sometimes Instagram just wants to act up on us. Hey, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, Natalie. Or anybody out there in Instagram land, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up real quick. I can see you. I can see you perfectly. See you perfectly. All right. Let me know when you situated, Natalie. I can see you. Yeah, the gremlins. Yeah, Riley. The gremlins are back. All right, cool. I got some. Okay, so we're saying they can hear me, but you can't hear Natalie, unfortunately. All right, Natalie, if you can hear me, drop out and come right back, okay? And then that way we'll go ahead and we'll reconnect you. And in the meantime, while we're waiting on Natalie to get set up, I'm gonna hit you guys with a little bit more from Todos. This song here is called Blame, and this is from Natalie Greffel right here on Lab Notes.
jealousy. But if you want to blame it on me, please don't forget that I can't read your mind. But I have tried to see you so you're not alone, and I have kissed you softer than you ever known, and I have listened, talking confusion and dropping conclusions. I wish that you would understand.
All right, Natalie, you back with us?
I cannot read.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect.
Okay, cool. Now we there.
Beautiful.
I was just hitting them up with a little bit of your song Blame right here on Lab Notes. That was Blame by Natalie Greffel.
Right.
Yeah, so I figured, got to play a little bit of the music while we wait. But now it looks like the gremlins disappeared. We're getting a lot of love on the side. Cool choice of song. Thank you there, Overlooked Tracks. I appreciate it. Natalie Greffel, man, I'm telling you, man, got the lovely mechanics as far as music is concerned, and we really appreciate what it is that you do. Now I gotta ask a question though. So
thank you.
So you got this record called, and again, I'm sorry if I mess it up, but you tell me if I'm pronouncing it right. You got this record called Canto pra vos or voci? Come on, man, don't laugh at me. Don't beat me up.
No, it just reminds me of my mom, because like being raised with her was the same thing. That how she was learning Danish, and we used to just like have so much fun with this. And also me learning German, it's such a joy to like listen to people commuting to a language. So I never laugh out of spite. I laugh out of absolutely loving experiences of trying to engage with languages. So that's why I'm all about that. I hope you didn't feel offended, but it's called Canto pra você.
Canto pra você. Canto pra você.
Pra?
Pra.
Yeah, the pra is almost like a drum. Like pra. It's like that's where it's at. Yeah. So it's just Canto pra você. Just one of those pras, and then you have it.
All right, cool. Canto pra você. So what is that song about?
Yeah.
Because I love it. I think the song sounds amazing.
So it's basically just a affirmation. It's a love song for myself.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's all about trying to create language. Trying to create narratives. So I'm just singing to myself. That I will meet the sun when the sun is ready to rise. That's when I'll see it, and just about not leaving behind. Yeah, it says leaving behind pain, but also just like being ready to also understand that you are in pain,
right? And
just also just like being very affirmative and like endearing to myself, offering the idea of sensory care. So it's also like even talking about I want to kiss myself, which is like I'm not going to mirror, but also like as a parent or a caring person who be with someone. So it's a lot about just offering that kind of language. So it's like the title basically means I'm singing for you, and at the same time I always felt that something that can be very intimate is when someone is actually singing to you. And I think that connecting with someone through a medium of art is like connecting like the artistic and the intellectual. So if someone is willing to like sing for me, that's me a personal thing. But if someone is singing to me just for me, I think that's something that can be very great, basically.
Right.
So because of that, I wanted to just sing for myself. And I think that's it's a very intimate thing and can be a very scary thing, because I have sung for people and people sung to me, and I always felt like it was almost like cringeworthy, but I appreciate the gesture and I wanted to do the same thing.
Right.
So.
Definitely, man. Well, if you just joined in the chat, this is Lab Notes, and I am the one-man gang, and she is the master of disaster on the microphone or whatnot. The girl, Natalie Greffel, out here making it happen. So peace out. Peace and blessings to everyone that joined. I'm sorry I didn't catch the name of everyone, but for everyone out there, I do appreciate you joining us. We're going to go ahead and get into another one of her songs. This song, let me see if I can pronounce it again. Canto pra Você. Okay.
Yes, there you go. Yes, canto pra você.
All right, so this is Canto Pra Você by Natalie Greffel right here on Lab Notes. Folks, that was Canto Pra Você. I said it right. Canto Pra Você right here on Lab Notes by the talented Natalie Greffel. Man, this is such an awesome record, man. It's so smooth, it's just so relaxing, man. So I really appreciate that. We got a question out here from Overlooked Tracks, and he said, if you had a chance to sing with anyone else, who would you want to sing with?
I gotta go fangirl on it. I do think my person, I have a few ones I would love to sing with they're not dead, but if someone was alive today, I would love to sing with Esperanza Spalding.
Oh, wow, okay.
That's just my friend girl. Yeah. I mean, for the part that she speaks Portuguese as well. Obviously, not that only reason, but there I think that again that connectivity is important to me because we could
right.
go in and out of that shit and she's amazing. And yeah, I think that would be it because I do think that for me it is it's kind of important to I love being with people who speak Portuguese. That's one of my soul languages. So
right.
If I can sing with someone who can do both, that's the main reason I would also be like that is a good match.
Right.
Yeah, and she's an amazing musician. Like I can't even, start to describe that. And so, and I think that's also part of having to trust someone. And I think I can trust her. But the girl can only dream. So,
hey, it might. I'm telling you, man, it might happen. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, but until then, I'm just gonna do my own thing. That's so good. Like, it's not the end of the career, like at the goal of the career. It's just it would be a beautiful path. But I'm not trying to set it up for that, but I definitely know that that's something that I would feel very comfortable with, emotionally speaking.
So Overlook Track says, I would say Dama de Fritas and Natalie would make the perfect track.
I don't know this person, but I'll definitely Google it.
Yeah, so he's saying that he played it on his previous podcast. So yeah, if you go to the Overlooked Track podcast on overlookedtracks.com, I believe this is where you can also hear about her as well, man. But I think if, as far as yourself, like granted, this person would have to be alive, but I think that you would probably pair really, really well with Celia Cruz. They kind of got that same powerhouse like vocal, performance, very strong voices and whatnot. So I think that if you and Celia Cruz were, I mean, granted, it wouldn't be able to happen because she's unfortunately no longer with us. But Celia Cruz, I can see a lot of similarities between the two of you, especially how strong both of your voices are. So. I'll
definitely check it out. I also don't know who Celia Cruz is. I'm a feeling a bit like caught off guard here and all these like amazing singers.
Celia Cruz
but I have to do today.
Celia Cruz is one of, man, I mean, I think Celia Cruz is either from Cuba or she's from Puerto Rico. She's from somewhere in the Caribbean. I can't remember where, but obviously being from that part of the world, she sings in Spanish, and her music is just crazy. It's incredible. It's incredible, definitely. So when you get a chance, you definitely got to look her up. She was amazing. Oh, you know the song? Do you know the song Guantanamera?
Yeah, Guantanamera.
She has a version of it that she sung. Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah, definit got to check that out.
I saw someone had a question about my teachers. I don't want to, take that away from them.
Go for it.
To see who it was. I think it was. You know who it was?
Hold on, I'm getting to. I think it was Roland. Roland Daniel. He said, "Who was your teacher and where in Brazil and when?" So the who, what, when.
So 2016. That's when. Who went when? So 2016, easy answer to that is Rio de Janeiro. That was the only place I was focused on. Of course, music from different parts of from Brazil have traveled to Rio de Janeiro. So I did not only learn about the music that was in Rio, but one of my bigger teachers I had there was Jamie Vignoli. Mm-hmm. He is one of the more famous choro arrangers in Brazil. I mean, the people, speaking of credentials, the people I talked to who said he's one of the greatest arrangers living right now in Brazil for choro music. And choro music is from Rio de Janeiro, so I wanted to work with him. So he had me. He was just talking to me about the history and then had me write all these arrangements and like go back and listen to records from like 1910s and 20s of Rio and people playing, and then transcribe it and learn about it, tell me questions and make arrangement about it, and keep on making arrangements of the same song. That was one of my teachers. Then had Marcelo Gonçalves. He's a guitar player where I was studying in the university. I studied at the UFJ. That stands for University, the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro. And I had a few courses that weren't, the students unfortunately weren't that upbeat, if I can say it friendly. Like it was a very, I think the school needed to have a lot of students, but the requirements to get in weren't that high. But the teachers were very good. So I had an amazing guitar teacher in his bossa nova guitar class. So we were a bunch of students in there, but he did really good work in just like having people sit and transcribe and learn this stuff on guitar and come back and then talk about it. I'm not a seasoned guitar player at all, but I can play a few of these like samba rhythms, but nothing major.
Right.
And so that was a good level for me to enter. But he definitely just he just explained it well. He was playing with some of the greatest Brazilian musicians like Chico Buarque, Roberto Sá at the time. I think he's also played with others. What is this other clarinet player? I forgot her name. I'm sorry, but he's playing and they're also touring in Europe. So he was playing with all those people. So he had a lot of like contemporary knowledge on the contemporary guitar playing. He was playing 7th string, and so just sitting with him and listening to him correct the other students for the most part was just like really getting everything in internalized. That was like the two of my teachers. Then I also, a friend that was also just teaching me out of the goodness of his heart is Bernardo Ramos, who is an incredible guitar player who comes from the school of Hermeto Pascoal. And he's kind of like very much into like atonal music today, like Schoenberg, but also like really like Brazilian contemporary jazz. Right. So there's a very rich tradition there of just like having studied a particular school of music from Hermeto Pascoal, and the way of composing, the way of learning music, which is almost without sheet music. Like he can read music, it's not an issue, but the way that school of people have learned music is by hearing, by learning, by incorporating, by internalizing immediately.
Right.
So he was also one of those people I would just meet and drink beers with and talk and play with, and invited me to play with, and just kind of learn their ways of learning music, of understanding music, of hearing music. So that would be like my three main teachers, and the rest were just a lot of questioning and answering, and from friends and musicians who, whether they being very talented or very like having careers, they were playing on the streets every day. So those are the ones who know what's popping. So those are the people that I also just, if I had a chance, would ask and talk to.
That's what's up right there, man. We got about 5 minutes left, so just want to take a couple of moments just to ask you, how can people best support you? Because I mean, obviously, to support musicians, you should always go to their shows. You should always buy their merch. You should always, buy their records. But some ways are better than others for certain musicians. So from your perspective, what is the best way for fans and people that want to know more about Natalie Greffel to support you?
For people who want to know more about me, well, I mean, obviously, like, capital is everything. So, I mean, if you want to buy my merch, that would be amazing, because it is a bit of a dire time right now for me. Not the worst, but it's everybody's trying to figure that out. If you want to buy my LPs, my CDs, that would be dreamy. But right now, I'm actually more interested in having conversations than just taking people's money. So I think at this point right now, it's more about getting to know what I stand for and who I am. If you want to support, obviously that's first. But secondly, I think to know about me, you have to learn about my position as an artist and how I choose to like use my voice to also create conversation. These are things that have to happen, like these one-on-ones that we have now. So if you want to support me, I think put me on a panel, put me on in interviews, put me into places where you feel that my opinion and my insight would matter. I say that would be a way of supporting me. Put me on a place where you can hear me talk about music, can talk about love, talk about my insecurities. I believe in role models, and I have had a lot of struggles musically and artistically, just believing in myself and being who I'm trying to, getting closer to every day. And I've had conversations with a lot of other musicians, particularly those who step outside of the default of like what a musician should look like, and how we all like have these insecurities and don't feel we're going to make it. And so I talk a lot about that. I try to talk a lot open about who I am and how I feel and what my struggles are. And I think that helps me connect with other people. People get to know me more, and people get to understand my music more. And I feel it creates a certain kind of engaging in trust. Basically, we engage with each other, and I'm willing to also, I want to listen to people talk about their own things. So I think the best way, that would be the best way to support me, is put me on display, basically. No doubt. And have conversations with me.
Like this right here.
And listen to
have a good conversation right here. Listen to some music. Get to talk to you, whatnot, man. I mean, I know COVID-19 is kind of a benefit, because now people are in the house and we can actually have these conversations, and people can come in and they can listen. We got about a minute and 33 seconds left. I want to say thank you to everybody that joined us in the chat. Appreciate it. Everybody that came through, asked questions. Natalie, you are always welcome here with me. So anytime you want to chop it up, I mean, we could go on and on, to be honest with you, man, because I would love to learn more about you. I would love to learn more about you, the person. I learned a lot about your music today, but I feel like there's so much more to the story that needs to be told for people to truly understand. But I will ask you one favor. Can you take us out with a song real quick?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so here we go.
We got less than a minute, so go ahead and give it to us.
Okay. Se você pudesse voltar ao teu país que não está tão frio, pode ser difícil, mas você faria bem. Se não quer responder minha pergunta sobre o frio, Pode ser difícil, pensamento falho. Bem, eu não sou diferente, queria saber. Unrecorded new songs.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Got plenty of love out there in the chat, so I appreciate it, man. Natalie, thank you so much. Thank you for coming through, and let's chop it up offline so we can go ahead and actually connect together again.